Oops, sorry. All right, give me 1 second. I just hit the start recording button. So yeah, Matt, give your intro. Give everyone an introduction as to who you are, how long you've been a commission premier, etc.
All right, sounds good. So first and foremost, thank you, Mason, for setting this up, using the technology, leveraging it for good. But yeah. So my name is Matt, and it's mad corny because like we're in a Madden league, so it's like, dude, who fucking cares, bro? Like, how's your Madden play? And I think that's the perspective of a lot of guys in our league, but not all of them. And I feel both ways. Like some days I'm like, bro, nobody wants to hear you fucking crying, right? But also I realize that some, and they're not going to say, yo, I need this place to just let it out. Um, that chat is that place. And for me, I have two perspectives on this because I was lucky enough to see Ramp and to see the man that he is, but also see the mistakes that he's made. And that's something that I was taught from a young age, just from life in general. Because I'll be so real with you guys. I came from a home of addiction, and it wasn't an evil home, bro. But like, I find in small talk a lot of the times, man, I'm in defense mode. And when we're playing a game of Madden, we're competitors. We're people that feel that we want to win, and it hurts when we don't win. And a lot of the times, because maybe Mason, you and I never connected, and we never met as individuals, as people. It's easier for me to just be a level meaner than I once was. So me and you, I don't know Mason. Mason doesn't know me. Like we know each other in the Madden world, but bro, like you'll never understand me fully, and I'll never understand you fully. And I think that's why this chat has something. And Prod really drove like the ideas with his open mindedness. And when he was actively involved, I found that the league was a much more positive place because I think he wasn't afraid to tell people like, yo, this is a little mean. Like he kept it 100% real. And I just felt that he was confident in himself. He talked his shit sometimes too, and he like talked his shit when he felt like he needed to because he won a Madden game. And I feel that our Madden League we have a lot of guys that need to do that, but we also have a lot of guys who aren't ready to hear it because they are fucking men. Like it's just a unique thing. And I'm not asking Premier to change Premier's identity. I always encourage jokes. I always encourage laughter. I always encourage making fun of things because, like, bro, if you're getting sensitive about a topic, why? Tell me why. Tell me why that topic stings. And I find that my whole life I've been asking that because a lot of times I live my life in defense mode. And not defense mode in the sense where like someone's gonna fucking beat me up and tell me I'm a bitch, but in the sense that like somebody asks like about anything that they ask about my family, I feel like I can't tell them the truth because the version that I've put together for myself, I'm very proud of. Um, and people think because of this package that I have, I'm just a white dude. I went to college, I have perspectives, and there's truth in that. Like I am literally just a white dude, um, you know, from a place that nobody knows and nobody really understands unless you live there. And I was like, listen, like, why do I think that I'm more important than everybody else? And I said I'm not, and I've always lived my life that way because I just feel that like shit, I couldn't say this out loud. And to me, this Madden chat has the potential to be viewed as an NFL league, right? And the thing that makes the NFL league dark, in my opinion, is the money and the business that got involved because they realized how special what they had was and how much it could profit. And it's almost like a modern day gladiators war. Like we watch the NFL teams go to war. People are like, why the fuck do they do that? Why do they risk not having their brain? And I know the answer to that, bro. They're in pain. Like when I was growing up, the only time I really felt like I could have fun was fun. So yeah, that's the perspective I come from, and I understand, bro. I am a competitor. I love to win. Everything I do, I want to beat you, no matter what, bro. We could be playing. I don't even know. You can make a game up, and I want to win it. And if I don't, I'm hurt. But how you act in defeat, to me, in my opinion, is more important than how you act when you win. And there's a lot of things that have been going my life that I'm starting to realize that one of the things of being a better man is being able to just fucking eat that shit. And it gets heavy, bro. And I think you always did a good ass job of that, Mason. When you win and when Mason win, I feel like those are good. Like when Juan sometimes big back, but I think Juan, he definitely stand up for the little guy. And I fucking am not a Madden star at all. I just didn't have the attention for it, and I wish, a piece of me wished that I let myself fully dive into Madden, but for some reason I had pressure when I was young, and I couldn't let myself get there, even though I realized that I wanted to go. Like I was like, damn, this Madden shit is cool, but like, if I play too much Madden, I'm gonna fail this test. If I fail this test, this shit's no more. So I grew up with a sense of pressure that I don't think people realize when they get the output. Because I hide it, I wear a mask. I'm just being really vulnerable with you guys because shit's been killing me, bro. If I realized that if I continue to hold what I feel in, you know, it's gonna make me a sour man. It's just not gonna clear my mind. And with that, like I have to recognize that I'm just another fucking guy too. I'm not better than anybody that I feel this way. I'm a person that realizes like, damn, fuck, this shit hurts. And people hurt in different ways. And I'm not saying that I want this to be a pussy chat, like where people are like, yo, I can't talk. We can't do this. We can't do that. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells because I said he's gay. Because at the end of the day, bro, it's jokes. And funny guys joke because they're in fucking pain, bro. And the jokes get lost. And I think the realization of the voice message in the Discord was, dude, that voice message allows me to get my point across. If you actually are in the Discord and you're present there and you're reading through the messages, you can see things that people that just kind of drop by can't. That's why, Dez, bro, he does a great job of just things. And I think people make fun of him like, yo, bro, you're in this chat, blah, 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 blah. Like, nah, Dez is doing the right thing. Like, and he was the one that's planted this seed for me. And I feel, because I've been a commissioner for a time, that it's my responsibility to action it, but I also feel guilty because I can't action it when my mind isn't on Madden. Now, Prod and I'll take partial credit, but it was mostly Prod, but I definitely also felt this way, and I think maybe he would agree that it was something that I planted the seed, and Reagan was against it way back in the old administration. So when it was Reagan running the show, when it was Ramp running the show, when it was guys that were a little power hungry running the show, they were running the show, and Prod was there to kind of be like, "Yo, guys, chill." And I connected with Prod because like I'm always that yo guys chill, and the reason why we're that yo guys chill is because one, like we're sensitive, man. Shit is hard, and I'm a sensitive guy. Words do hurt me, it's hard to admit that. Like, definitely, like, bro, when I lose a batting game, I'm already fucking pissed, bro. I'm already down.
Yeah.
And then if you want to come and kick me when you're down, I can't punch back as a leader. Like, I cannot do it because, listen, I lost my game. I'm not Madden anymore. You guys are in Madden. This means more in the moment. That doesn't mean I'm better, but this Madden shit might be what you need that day. Like, it's not, and I think as Premier has evolved, um, where Premiere we can call a book, right? Like we have Premiere is a book. We start with chapter 1, we're getting all the way to chapter 10, and each season that we complete is a different chapter, but it's still Premiere. And the chapters that I was seeing, and I think, and I'll get to the point, but the chapters that I was seeing go wrong were chapters, Premiere 19, Premiere 20, Premiere 21, Premiere 22. And I wanted to understand why. Why was I seeing those chapters, get negative? And one of the reasons, bro, and it was because we promoted also at the same time promoting Be Yourself, we're promoting Compete. And there's a lot of people in Premiere and in life in general that need an outlet to feel like they're a champion, and their outlet to feel like they're a champion isn't the same as yours, bro. And that's so fucked up when people are like, damn, like, this outlet is better than this person's outlet. Like we all got to be careful. All of us as men, because we're addicted to the feeling of doing something good, and that can be powerful, and that can also be pure evil. So
Man,
That's
Matt.
that's what's up.
First off, thank you for all that. I didn't know most of that stuff you said, especially about your upbringing.
Yeah.
Um, and for those, I mean, people who don't know, like we do talk about Prod, Ramp, and Reagan a lot. I do want to delve into that, but so I'm gonna hold that in my thought. But because you said something interesting with your upbringing, and how you said like you grew up with addiction a little bit. Did Des? Oh, by the way, Miles said good morning, and Des said he's gonna call you Pastor Matt. So I love it.
Nah, you don't have that, bro. I don't want credit for any of this. I just want change.
And Miles has a question. Miles, if you want, you can put your question in the chat. I'm gonna ask him one real quick, and then I got you. But my question would just be: is that upbringing a little bit why you saw some of the family attacks like go too far? Because and I want to get to my thoughts in on a minute because I'm a little different, but again, I had a different upbringing, of course. But is that why you're kind of like, all right, this is going a little too far? Like we can't be attacking people's like families or people's personal lives, and they don't throw that information out there. Because we had Dom on, he said the same thing. It's like, all right, if people are giving you this stuff, like with like the pictures with me, I post those, right? Like people are giving you the information, then sure, but it's something where if it's not being given to you and you just go find it and then post it and then give people shit for it, um, that's a little tough. So did that have an impact on you saying what you said in the announcements, trying to like calm everything down, ream it in a little bit, or was
Yeah.
it something else that someone else said to you?
So I will say this, and I personally never became an addict. To be completely frank with you guys, but uh, I don't know how to say it, but some days when I'm in Premiere, bro, I just needed to laugh, and it's cheap. Like it's a cheap laugh. It made me feel better, but I didn't realize the impact it had on the man behind the screen. And I feel like we should encourage that environment where, like, some days, bro, maybe Merrick needs a laugh, bro. Maybe Ryan needs a laugh. Maybe I need a laugh. And I think, in my opinion, what I see that went wrong, and this is just my opinion, that's just one perspective, and I want to open a dialogue for everyone in Premiere to start talking and giving different angles. So the reason why I kind of feel this way, and I don't even know. Sometimes I lose my train of thought because it's just like fucking hard because I'm trying to hold it in because I don't want people to know how like bad it hurts. And I think that that's how people also feel in Premiere, like on a real ass level. Like it's like you lose a Madden game, bro. That could have been the highlight of your day, and people make fun of that, and it's funny, bro. It's like, damn, this Madden game is all you fucking have, and for some people, yeah, it is, and it hurts. And I was one of those guys, bro. I was one of those guys for like I had a flash, so I was in darkness. And a lot of people talk about my friend Ramp. And listen, he brought the toxicity, he set the tone. But you guys saw, and a lot of people see him for what he says because that's his fault. That's he has to take responsibility for those things, and that's up to him to do. I can't make him do that, and I can't get offended when he doesn't. But all I can say is I knew the man behind the screen. So yeah, like I don't fucking agree with the way he spoke with Nard, the way he handled himself. But I mean, that's still a homie. You know what I mean? So we got to encourage that environment. That's what I want for Premiere, bro, because we have like four generations of Madden players. Like we have, the Nards, the Apos, the fucking OGs, the guys that were going to live events at Blockbuster, just like playing Madden to have some fun. They're like, yo, I'm good at this. It gave them something, and it's important for us to give back. And it's hard for me to say because I've been holding like these thoughts in so long. Like, there's a reason why Premiere deletes that people delete the app and they just go. And there's a reason why they do that. And we gotta say, what do we do to make them leave, bro? And there's no right or wrong answer to that. We just have to be open to all angles because it could be one. Madden was bad for them. They left because they got a fucking lock shit. And I think you may have done that, bro. And if I'm wrong, if it was a different reason, you don't got to tell me. But that's what I saw what you were doing. So that's why when I was like, "Where's Mason?" Because like I was worried.
Hmm.
And I would say things like this, like I would ask Miranda, my girlfriend, and one of the things that she does is she just lets me fucking babble, and that's powerful, man.
Yeah.
And
All
it's
right.
like it's and yeah, go ahead, Mason.
Miles just had a question. He wants to know if you got sad when he made a comment about a certain tattoo that you posted.
Nah, 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 nah. Listen, like you guys got to realize, bro. Me myself, I grew up in an environment where, um, I guess I could say it this way. I grew up as a chubby kid, and I grew up in an environment where, uh, if that's all that was wrong, I was okay. And it's not me being sensitive. It's um, somebody's got to fucking take the punches, bro. Like yeah, somebody's got to be able to eat it. Like, listen, Uh, and it's hard to do because we're not getting paid, bro. I'm not getting paid to fucking have people tell me I suck at Madden, but also, bro, that's why people are still here because there's no money on the line. It's a
Yeah.
community, and that's why when people say I want to start paying the champions, it's like, yeah, that would make the league better, but that would make the community worse. I think that we should donate and we should do it as a group. So all 40 guys. Listen, some people might not have fucking $5 for Madden that day, but what they do have is the attention to be in the chat, and that's something. And you know, I'm just tired. Like I'm tired as men of hiding the pain. Like, and I say that because I'm not a fucking pussy, bro. But and I hate people that say like, "Oh, I'm a big guy. I'm not a pussy." Blah blah blah. Like, yeah, I'm a fucking big guy, but like, if somebody's been training in karate, they'll beat my ass, and I understand that, and I'm okay with that. Like, all you can be, bro, as a man in today's society is a fucking is the pole on a basketball hoop, bro. It never gets any credit, but if that shit comes down, there's no more game. I think that in Premier, we have some guys that are like that, and I think we have some guys who can do that, and they just don't see it yet, and I see it. That's
I
all.
so Des just said something, not really a question, but he said just because someone told y'all something in the chat doesn't mean it's okay for them to be shit on about it.
Uh huh.
This
That's
is
facts.
so. Go
But
ahead.
it's just somebody had to fucking address the elephant in the room, and the elephant in the room is that every single man that you ever meet is sensitive because he has an ego. He has an ego because somewhere somebody fucking relies on him. And it might be him relying on himself. But listen, when that changes, you got another person that relies on you. Are you going to just do what you always did for yourself? Or are you going to be like, you know what? This fucking sucks, but we're doing it and we're in this shit. And that's why teams and Marines and people get sad because when there's no stakes on the line and people get power, they feel that they can shift it and say, "Look what I got! Look what I." And those people are fucking twisted. And I'm just here to say, but we don't all feel like that. When I get power, bro, people got no idea what I came from, but I don't want credit. I just want change, and that's why I think me and Noah used to get into it. Like, I'm just so curious about um, why people get upset because I get upset too. And I have an ego too because I'm a competitor and I'm a man and I was the only person that could do it. Um, but I didn't necessarily feel that way about myself. And I'm not like a fucking, the thing that I think in our society, and this is just my opinion on the society, and it might be a fucking crazy dude spin, but I think that in our society, leaders and what I'm seeing in my business career, what I'm seeing with some of my friends, some of my close family is like people get a little bit of power and they want to say, "Look what I got," and it's like, yeah, feel good about it, but also recognize what you could do to somebody else. Like, man, Miranda, she's like such a beautiful soul, and I say this about her because on paper, people always wondered, like, oh, like, like she's not, she's not someone that always does the right thing by the textbook, right? It's like, but people don't zoom out and see, like, when Miranda was in fucking ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, her mom had cancer, bro. She was like, I was playing football. I thought it was this shit, and her mom was on the doorstep of death, bro. And we need more of that. And bro, it's hard to say. And I told you in the message, bro. Listen, if you guys want to fucking make jokes about me being real with you on a podcast, swing. Because if you guys need to punch me, I'll be the puncher bag. But I don't want to be the enforcer because I don't like telling people what to do. I like to encourage people to do the right thing, but I don't get that. Nah, this is what we're gonna do, and that's what I say. Feeling because like I think that's a dangerous feeling, and I think if you're somebody that gets that feeling, bro, I don't think you should be in leadership, and I don't think you should be in power, and I don't think you should start a family, and I don't think all of those things. Now, does that mean that you feel that way always? No. But like we have a responsibility as men that nobody wants to say, nobody wants to hear from me, dude. Like I understand. But when you look at my picture, I'm like a white dude who's got his shit tight, who's got it together, and that's some of the attraction to why some people like me. And I hate those people. So every day I go to work and I have a conversation with somebody, and they like, you have your conversations, and every single conversation to me feels like an assessment. And when people, show me that they don't want to talk about something, bro, I say, okay, that's like, I don't push it because, your ego, you ask a question, you want an answer. It's like, all right, fucking asshole. Like sometimes you don't need to get one. Sometimes somebody might know the answer, but they're not ready to say. Who are you to fucking tell them? And somebody's got to tell them. I'll be 100% real eventually, but we got to just be patient, and we just got to be a little bit softer on ourselves as individuals because, like, we don't know the whole picture, bro. And that's the beauty of this thing is we meet online. We're in an environment where we're just chatting, bro. Like I'm literally just in here, just giggling with Des, bro. Like it's funny as fuck. I'm talking to you. I haven't, and it's just I've been hiding these feelings about what the chat could be and what the chat was for a lot of people. Because that younger generation, bro, they don't understand. They're not ready to say it yet. They're not there yet, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Like when Khaled fucking comes in the chat and says, "Yo, Reagan, like you're a pussy," blah 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 blah. Bro, is the dad getting his ass beat? Like, and Reagan walks away. And yeah, he makes his digs back, and that's not right either. But I see it as like, that was wrong of Cal to do. But the fact that Reagan just ate that shit and took a step out of Premier instead of firing back and saying something crazy shows what Reagan really is outside of this Madden shit. Because if you're not a champion in defeat, are you even a champion, bro? Like that shit is like that's how I feel about this. Like if you're not a champion when you lose, if you win and you say, haha, look what I did, fuck you. Yeah, you gotta say that. But at the end of the day, bro, we're all in the same battle. We're all in the same battle. And if you are saying, look at what I did, look at my trophy, that's sick. That's fucking twisted. That's my opinion on it. And you got to ask yourself, why are you saying that? Explore that. Explore why you love winning so much. Because at the end of the day, bro, winning is a different definition. There's different criteria to every competition that you play. Competitive people, bro, it helps them. It helped me. I was competitive. I like to win. I got myself in a situation where I like to win. And I'm in an environment where I'm around people who like to feel like they won in everything that I do, and it's scary because they don't realize why they feel like they like to win. And for a long time, I didn't need. But for some reason, bro, like I could go to my mom and she would just fucking tell me. Like she knew me uh, better than anyone, and I guess you see like fuck, um, you see like the end of your mom's life and it changes your mind. Like I saw my mom for the first time this weekend and I was like, damn. Uh, you know what I mean? Like you just see it and you're like, I don't got time. She doesn't have time, bro. Like uh, she's got plenty of time, but
Right. Real quick, Sky said you're spitting. He wants the Saints again. You fired him up.
good, good. And that's what I feel, bro. And Sky's the homie, man. And I've known Sky, and I'm like, he's the only person um, that even has heard this side of me. And that's because I know he's not going to tell anybody I know in real life. And That's why I got you guys, bro.
Yeah. And
So
Miles said he could use these words for breakfast. I so you pointed out because you wondered why, I left the chat and everything, and if it was so I'll tell you, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. Go
for
ahead.
me, um, I grew up suburban, divorced parents, whatever, but we had it pretty good. Um, same thing, chubby kid. Um, and it was right around like high school. I didn't play sports. I was too like self-conscious to watch. We were playing basketball once, doing the basketball thing. I was hitting shots, but then we were doing suicide. I was like, I'm too fat for this shit. So I literally just left like the tryouts and everything. I'll still cook Jacob though. I'll still cook Jacob to death. Um, but so that's like part of my childhood. But the one thing was I always, even when I was, what is it, 10, 11, I was whooping my uncles in Madden. And then in high school, just a lot going on in my head. Parents fully divorced, but my dad finally had Verizon as like the internet service. I was like, oh shit, I can actually, because playing the lag and shit. Oh, I had Comcast with my mom. And I was like, I know I'm good at this, but I can't play online because my shit keeps lagging out. Or one time I remember she vacuumed and just hit the power cord, and I was like, Mom, why the fuck would you do that? Anyway,
Listen,
so
listen, bro. Well, let me stop you right there because that's a fucking real ass feeling, and I get that feeling as just a kid.
yeah,
But I know with my mom, bro, when she cleans, it makes her feel
mhm,
better.
yeah.
So
I didn't mind
she,
her cleaning. She would just hit the cord. Sometimes it'd be on purpose. She knows she was doing. She
well,
did.
she maybe worried about you, bro. Maybe she said, "Listen,
Yeah,
my son's a little too into this. Like
yeah.
he's obsessed, bro. Sometimes when your mom sees
It's
you doing
true.
something, uh, she'll tell you."
It's
And
true. It's true.
yeah,
And honestly, what I used to do is in high school, I used to play. Um, I said I used to go over to my dad's on the weekends, and it would just be like Madden for hours. Like I'm talking like 7, 8 hours to the point where I was like top 10 ranked. On like the was it PS3? PS3. So I was like super duper into it. If they had the shit that they had now, because back then it was Virgin Gaming and you couldn't do it unless you were 18. But if they had this shit back then they had now, I think I would have been really, really nasty. Um, but essentially, I joined a couple leagues, was winning in them, felt, a little too easy, and then I joined Premier. And Ramp got me in the league because and this is where I think it comes a little different. Like I'm just like, all right, I keep beating these people, and it's like there's no like edge. People just be like, oh, you're cheesy. One league just made up 1,000 rules to like stop me, and I still would win. I'm like, okay. They'd be like, no, you can't. I think they made a hot route rule, Matt. A hot route rule. They made a
so
rule you can only hot route two people on a play. And I was like, oh, that's directly, damn. I was like, all right, that's kind
yo,
of crazy rule.
keep going, keep going.
But so then I joined Premiere because Ramp was like, I gotta leave that you can't, what I mean, be it. And me and Ramp had our like battles over. It was like, I like him. I like the edge. I like there's something here. So then I come in Premiere and he starts talking that shit like, oh, you can't win here, blah, blah, blah. So then like Prod said the other day, I had the Texans trade everyone. This wasn't like the great tech. This was like, I think this was JJ Watt clowning. Um, yeah. I got you. I'll get to that, Miles. But so I joined, won the Super Bowl, but then it just felt winning in Premier just felt different than every other league to the point where every league I just started even and I was running another one. I don't even remember Elite. I was running a league and I was like, it's not the same. Something about the community and the competitiveness on the same end, it did. I talked a little out of pocket in Premiere because that was kind of the nature of the beast, right? So I 100% get what you mean with it being like definitely a little too far at times because again, at that point, like I'm a grown ass man, I'm 27, but then I was like 19. So my mind's still getting developed, formed, and like I'm thinking I'm just in college, yada yada, like all this stuff, and I'm in this league and I'm really good at it. But sometimes these grown men talk out of pocket, so I'm gonna talk out of pocket back. and just really not give a fuck about the impact of my words and what I was saying. Until, and I tell a story a lot, until I said something to Nard and he was like, I'm gonna meet up with you. And even though I was like, this guy might kick my ass, whatever, the thing that it kind of showed me was, oh, I really, like, not in like a, because Nard's again my OG, like, he's my guy now. But it was like, I really like hurt him calling
Uh-huh.
him what I called him, right?
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
it was like, oh, he's willing to do all this to a kid, maybe, right? But it's because, like, hey, someone has to teach you, you can't just say whatever the fuck you want to say. And
Uh-huh.
to me, that's when I was like, all right, that was my first step back moment, right? I was like, all right, let me step back here. Something's not right, right? Like, I can't just say all these things. Now, like I said before, the reason I do shit like that, and I'll do it now, I just won't do it obviously to that degree where I'm like really, really pissing people off, hurting their feelings deeply, I guess, in a way, hurting their self paradigms, if that makes any sense. Is because I'm like, all right, I want to see kind of who you are as a person. I'll just throw little jabs here and there. I like messing with people. I do. Um, but back then I definitely used to do it too much. So I definitely, and like you said, like Ramp, Reagan, they did that to some degree, but I don't know how to put it. It's like I get the culture because they were great. Like, don't get me wrong, they were great commissions. Premiere wouldn't be what it is right now without them.
Uh-huh.
And to some degree, like I like that aspect of it. You know, like sometimes I like coming in and seeing some talk of stuff, laughing. Um, Miles asked a question, so I'll answer it during my diatribe. He asked how I felt when he was the Dolphins and I was the Pats. I was
One
fine
second.
until you took away my undefeated season for no reason.
And let
Absolutely.
me before we start fielding questions, let me just jump back into what you meant. So you mentioned like you were just taking it crazy, right? Like you were going wild
Mhm.
in that. The reason you were going wild is because you realized that there was nothing that was going to happen bad to you. And because you thought, I can say whatever I want. It's the internet. That's that. See, now as we get this next generation, we get the younger guys. We get Kyler. Well, Kyler's not that young, but the younger guys as Premier starts to get younger, as life starts to pull some of the OGs away. We need to understand as leaders that our definition of the internet and how we interface with the internet is not the same as theirs. So what does that mean? That means that for us, we know we got to put the fucking phone down and get a little time away when we're upset because we had our parents that didn't have cell phones saying, bro, I don't know if I like this cell phone, it's making you upset, because they would see what the power, the negative that it has within you to make you upset. They would see, listen, I don't know, like this is good. Um, and they were right. And I mean, and now we have a generation that doesn't have that same perspective. And the only way that you can understand perspective from every generation as medicine gets better and people live longer and people start to coexist for a longer period of time is to realize that you can't resent a generation. Like I can't look at the boomers and be like, you boomers have it so lucky. You had a great economy. You have all of these things that I don't have. It's like, nah, but listen, my grandfather was years old shooting bombs in Korea. And when he came home, he had enough money because the economy was great because the US had just won the war that he could write checks for my family. He could write checks for his kids to go to college. Now and we'll get into this point another day. Like every single person here has a relationship with their parents, and it's different. But I see what my dad did wrong for a long time. I didn't see what he did right. He's not an evil guy, but like it's okay. Like I wouldn't be who I am without them both. And I think that that's the thing that I'm very lucky to have had this perspective of a dad and a dad's dad. And my dad and his dad didn't get along because my dad didn't finish what my grandpa wished he did. But but my grandpa said, you know what? I want to see my grandkids. Whatever you did, bro, you didn't die. And because he was a veteran. That's how they think. As long as you don't die, it's okay. And that's not okay. And people don't understand that power. Um, but he did. And if I don't have a kid, that bloodline's dead because I'm the only boy in my family, in my immediate family, for reasons like health reasons, a lot of reasons. My family just didn't have a lot of kids. So I held that pressure my whole life to be this guy. I understand that, he wasn't perfect, but I'm not perfect. But we need to start holding the pressure as Premier to have everybody in this unit be better. And that's just how I feel. And that's how I always kind of felt about this Madden chat, but I didn't know it. And I also didn't want to say it. And I had the opportunity to talk about it, with Sky throughout the years, which has helped a ton with like Rain, guys that used it at the same time. It's almost like Premiere, bro. And it's going to sound so corny because, like, shut the fuck up. It's like Premiere is the drug, bro. If you let it get to you, if you let it become a problem, it will become a problem. And I feel that way with our cell phones. I feel that way with a lot of things in the world that we have now, that people don't know moderation because everything's so convenient. And that is what the boomers resent about us. Like, we get mad at the old guys, like blah blah blah. And I was like, dude, all the old guys knew was shooting each other and coming home and like and providing after that. So they literally provided for the country, they provided for the war, and it made very sick men. And those sick men had an opportunity to create children, and a lot of them dropped the fucking ball, which created sick men, which created sick men, which created sick men. Now, I'm not saying here's the only place for men. Like, we could probably have a woman if she could play, bro. We had one in here. Prod, again, was open minded to that. He didn't let it get pervy, bro. He said, like, yo, chill. Like, obviously, she's a woman, she's attractive, but like, I'm not getting pervy. So Prod was a leader, and I see a gap. And I think there was a gap for a few reasons. And if the one reason was, bro, no one wanted to just say how they felt, and Prod didn't necessarily say exactly what he felt, but I felt where he was coming from on a lot of things. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that, it's hard to lead when something's free. But once we put money on this thing, it will shift the dynamic, and it might just become Premier. So this gets all the way back to, I was sitting and thinking, like, if I come back to this league and this league's a positive for me, and this league is something that I use to just kind of chill, what needs to change for me to do that so I can put my phone down or close the chat, the game ends, and I don't go to Miranda and I'm in a bad mood because I lost the Madden game. What am I, 5 years old? So it's just how it goes, and I get all sides of it because I've been in this league, and for some reason, bro, I've been in this group chat for like, I don't even know, maybe 9 years now, 10 years, like, and I haven't been in Madden all those years. I've touched and goed. But I stayed connected. And the reason I stayed connected is because sometimes I needed to laugh. And this was the place that I got those laughs. And they became cheap laughs. And that's fucked up. And I'm guilty for those things. Like, I created cheap laugh environment because I'm a funny guy by nature. I like to joke about things, but like, the things I like to joke about, other people don't like to joke about. And that's just how it goes. It's like, you gotta just, like, if you say jokes, like, if I say, yeah, Mason's a bitch and la da 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 in the chat, you read that, you're like, I'm not a bitch. But if you know how I sound, if you know my inflections, if you know my language, oh shit, Matt's just saying, bro. You know what I mean? He's just saying, like, yo, you're, bro, like we're friends. And we're losing that like we're friends feeling in Premiere for a lot of reasons. One, it's way more competitive than it's ever been. Two, we lost a lot of the OGs that would lash out and say, I fucking lashed out, and come back and still play. Because at the end of the day, they love Madden. As Madden got worse, so did the chat. So I'm seeing a trend, an opportunity where Madden might start to suck. Where's the chat going to shift to? We got like 40 guys in here who all have different connections and different resources. And I'm just encouraging people to be themselves and just share their story in Premiere if they want to. I'm not saying, yo, this guy, share your story. Yo, this guy, you got to share your story. And that's why I think when you podcast, Premiere felt better because there was a dialogue. And I think that, it's tough because it's a free league. And I think as a league, we need to understand that you could potentially get paid for the podcast. But if we're not getting paid to play Madden, if there's not, money to govern Madden, then we need to treat this like it's a charity. And that's why I chose Todd, bro, to be a commissioner. And it was a decision that I kind of really thought about, and it was against the grain, and it was against the grain for a lot of the reasons. And I explained to Ty, I sent him a voice message because sometimes I just don't want to type things out. I have thoughts, bro. I don't like texting because it's effort, and I got shit to do. I have, you know, and that's not. I have shit to do on. It's like I just have shit I got to do as a man that I can't be on this chat talking all day. Like it's just how it is, and I miss being on this chat talking all day because at a point in time, everybody's on this chat talking all day, and we don't need to know why. We just need to understand that you got to let them speak.
Matt.
Um, what's up?
So you're saying so much great stuff. Honestly, this interview's going way better than I thought it would. You said you would be open. You're telling me stuff I never knew about you, like your perspectives on this are completely different, and that's obviously like why I wanted to talk to you. I do, and you're just making me like things go through my head. So I want to touch base on a couple of things with you, just a little bit about my perspective, because I'm even thinking about my journey in Premiere. One of and there's a couple, right? There's a couple of moments in my life. Like Premiere has been some of the, I'll just say it, some of the best moments of my life. One of them, if I'm gonna say the best moment I've ever had in Premiere, there's like a clear top two to me. I think the first one is when Prod let me be commish. Um, because so for those who don't know, let's go back real quick. So as just a user, young Demetrius was way more annoying than you guys, trust me, especially to the commissions. I was the person who, I'm talking like, Reagan used to hate me only because I would shit talk, but everyone shit talk. That wasn't the reason. It would be like if we were close to advance, I'd be like, "What's up with these games?" I was addicted. Like you said, it's a drug. I was completely 100% addicted. I was like, "What's up with these games?" And I used to go out of my way as a user, DM people. Now I don't know if people still do this or not. Because when I was a commissioner, I started doing it, so I don't know who's kind of taking head on that. If that still happens, whatever. I feel like the chat would just bully them as a whole and just be like, "Play your game" at this point. But I used to just DM people like, "Hey, what's up with your game? Hey, what's up with your game? Hey, what's up with your game?" as a user, because I was like that much like, we gotta get to the next game. We gotta get to the next thing. So when Prod, and obviously I grew up, I wasn't like the same person. I was kind of growing, maturing, everything like that. But when Prod allowed me to be a commish, I was like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? And then, of course, you're going to hear, like you saw with Ty, anytime you promoted a commish, all the good and the bad, everyone's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Mason just wants power. Oh, blah, blah, blah. He's immature. And obviously, some of that was true. But it's like, why do you want the power, right? Like, for me, it was, I want to further the league. I want to have things be a little, I want to be more of a calming influence. I think people should be able to do a little bit more what they want in the league, obviously. I'm not talking about like our current community conversation. But I was like, I'm more, and again, maybe this was right, maybe this is wrong, but I'm more like, oh, you send me a trade approved, I don't care. Go ahead. As long as it's not really fucking stupid. Like I'm like, let's get him in, let's play our games, right? And I think one thing about me is I never broke a rule. So and I never quit a game. I never did any of that shit, and that means a lot to me. That's like that's a lot of my personal security, a lot of my pride with the league. Is like I will never, quit a game. I'll never if I'll never do it on purpose where I break a rule. Did I do some cheesy shit? Yes. But did I ever like break a rule that was stated? No. And the one time I did it by accident, I don't even remember, Matt. As the Chiefs, I suspended Mahomes for like 5 games because I accidentally did the edit abilities thing. And I think I switched someone's position and their abilities changed, and I couldn't because of the abilities thing. So I was like, ah, fuck, whatever. Just to make a point because it just to me, that's the one thing I hate. I don't like rule breaking. I don't like people skirting around to try and do that. So I'm like, I'm gonna suspend Mahomes for this amount. So if anyone else does this, y'all know that this is like the deal. And I think it's spent for like 5 games over something that had nothing to do with Mahomes, anything like that. That's just like me and my personal where I'm coming from it. The the second moment. Well, back to the commission thing though. I think one thing about that as well was I remember before AJ wanted to be a commish, and I kept telling him no. I was like, no, you're not a commish, dude. You're not commish material. Like you're a good player and you do a lot for the league. Like this is back, does hella shit for the league, even before he was a commissioner, with the media, with all that stuff. But I was like, dude, we're just 1 year removed from you consistently breaking rules. You're not ready for this responsibility because people don't. Being a premier is one responsibility, and trust me, being a premier is a great responsibility. It's a tough one. Like the perspective you're coming from, being a commission premier is different. Like you really feel like, oh shit. And I think for years people haven't quite known how to put it, but you feel like you're leading something bigger than you. You really do. That's how I felt as a commissioner. I was like, I can't really put my finger on it. And that's why you see me come out with the podcast. I this again, part of the maturity thing, but like keeping with my editing back then wasn't great, but during COVID, like I literally, and this might be one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my life, but whatever, fuck it, it's Premiere, so who cares? I literally spent like thousands just because I was getting free money. But I spent a couple $1,000s on Premiere on YouTube. No idea, no vision, no idea really what I was doing, why I was doing it, but that like actually happened. I was like, I'm gonna spend this money on YouTube ads and we're just gonna make sure people see what the fuck this is. Now, if I did it now, probably way more successful. A, because you put together a better product, editing, all that stuff. But that's just what I felt like in my heart. I was like, I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but to some degree, Premiere is going to be a part of my life. And that is the reason I had to step back for a little bit. I was like, Premiere can be a part of my life, but if I'm not successful outside of it, if I'm not getting my shit done outside of it, it doesn't matter. So what I was doing was I was doing, door-to-door sales for Verizon, walking on people's doors, blah, 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 blah. No, fuck out of here. I don't want Verizon, Comcast rules, whatever, right? This is what I was doing over that last year and a half. But and all my friends would be like, "You don't like this. Like, why are you doing it?" And slowly I had to get rid of everything. Everything. Premiere was one, Madden was another. Um, for a little bit, for a little bit, I wasn't fucking. I was like, I'm celibate. Whatever. Girls don't matter. I need to figure out what my life is really about. And sometimes you do have to step back from things as great as Premiere to do that. Like, and that's why I left, and I kind of didn't tell you guys because I knew I would be back eventually. Just didn't know when, just didn't know how, just didn't know in what capacity. Until now, which I've talked to you guys about, I'm a DJ now. So I'm gonna join. Hopefully, my nights aren't too annoying for you guys because most nights I'm not gonna be able to do it because I'm DJing. But it's like now I have to be like, okay, so now I have time, right? Now I have time. Now I can kind of get back to Premiere. That's why I'm like, I want to do the podcast. I want to do all this stuff again. The first one that I made purely the first podcast I did back, making it about Premiere was great. Everyone's here, everyone's chatting. I did the second one is about sports. And I was like, I don't want to do this if it's not about Premiere. So that's why I told you, my guy Darnell. Um, I've been doing sports podcasts with him for years. Never even thought about having him in the league. But I'm like, you know what? If we're gonna do a podcast, and if this podcast makes it, it's gonna be a mix of both, right? It's gonna be sports and Premiere, but Premiere is a part of it. It's just in my blood at this point. It's a part of who I am as a person, like we say it's a drug, but it's also like a family. So it's like you guys have all had an impact on my life, like in the person I'm becoming and the person that I am. And all the success that I'm gonna have is in part because like you guys are in the chat, because I talk to you guys about like what I'm going through, everything like that. But again, those moments of maturity, like pride being like, all right, Demetrius is finally ready to be a commish. Me being like, AJ, you're going to be a commish one day, it's just not going to be right now. Just take that time and then coming back and seeing like, different person like AJ's becoming. Um, just finding all this information. Khalid, I mean, I know you say Khalid like goes over the line, but Khalid to me has become much more, Mel as a person. Now, again, it's not Madden season, so I'm just going off what I see during basketball season. So could be wrong. But just like to me, that's the thing. And I think the only I agreed with the point of the announcement. To me personally, I don't even think necessarily what it was wrong. I just knew what was going to happen. I knew that there's going to be, we're seeing now, it's a little petty, being little babies. There's all this sarcastic shit. Hey, you can't say that. That's a strike type shit. That's just comes to territory. You lead commish, bunch of sarcastic guys. It's going to happen, right? Like anything you do, there's going to be boom. People aren't even egging on. They're just like, that's a strike. that's a strike type shit. And they kind of don't understand it. They don't understand like why it's there. It's not to be a dick. It's it's because you're having people talk about people, but even in just the online community, you don't AJ just said strike. But even the online community, like you don't know me like that. Like I've never met AJ, Dez, Maysoon, any of that. But before I started talking to them crazy, I had conversations with them that wasn't hostile. Like before I started calling Dez a casual on the NBA
Yeah.
shit, like I talked to Des about basketball. Like
Well,
we've been on
yeah.
podcasts. Like I don't know him as a person, but we've had conversations. And I think what you're talking about is the relationships between people isn't there right now. There's people just saying a name and attacking rather than trying to actually, you can't. There's only so much you get to know someone online, but rather than getting to know them, talking to them, talking through like, hey, this, that. Like, hey, let's have a conversation first, and then I can shit talk you later. And that's the thing. Again, me and Nard had our beef, but it's because I knew that Nard went to Temple. Like I knew shit about him. So when I hit that nerve, and he was like, "Bro, you hit a nerve. I'm gonna show you how bad you hit it." Type shit. It's like, okay, I see where he's coming from. But you can't just say shit if you really are just like, this person's just this, and I don't care at all about anything they're saying, and I'm just gonna say what I say. That we are a community at the end of the day. Like you should get to know the people that you're talking shit about to some degree. Now, for me, when I was younger, I used to be like, all right, I'm gonna get to know all the good and bad about you, so I can know how to beat you at the game. Just a fact. I'm still doing that now to some degree, but it's also because I care. Like I care about all you guys, deeply, and that's why that's a lot of decisions. That's why didn't tell anyone this. I went to sleep at 4 a.m. Matt was like, "We're recording at 10:30." I'm like, "Yeah, fuck it, let's do it." I have Matt. I didn't tell you this. I have interviews with AJ later today, and I got Ty tomorrow, Monday, because I just want to get their perspectives on what it's like to be a commish. Now, I think they're going to be a little lighter than this, but I think we're doing a lot of good. Like I agree. Like a lot of the stuff that you're saying need to be said, need to be heard from people, and it's even making me kind of think about it a little different. Because at first I was like, I don't know, it's kind of blah 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 blah, but then hearing Dom kind of be like, well, it is going a little too far, and hearing Des being like, you can't just say whatever the fuck you want, and now hearing your story, it's like, yeah, you know what? You can't. You should at least know the person you're talking shit to. If you're gonna do it, at least try to get to know that person, right? Before you just really attack them, their personal life, their family, all that shit. Like you can joke with people if you know them, in my opinion. Because then
Well,
you'll know what to joke about and what to not joke about. But
so, so I'm hearing everything that you just said, and that was beautiful. And I really to hear your perspective on things, and it aligns with a lot of what I thought. And it was super weird because, like you and I, we had the Eagles, so we had a bond, we had something, right? This chat, we have Madden, we have all it starts with is something, and then from something
man,
comes
sorry to interrupt real quick. Do you
sure.
remember back in the day how me and you really became close, like as close as we are? It's because that
Everyone called us for fucking real about the Eagles, bro. They were like, "Oh, these dudes are the most negative."
on Sundays, bro, the chat used to be quiet. I promise you, nobody's talking about anything.
Huh.
And one day it was either me or Matt started. We just started talking about the Eagles. And it's like, fuck it. And then one of us responded, and we were like, oh. And then it was like every Sunday was just Eagles chat. Every Sunday. Why do you keep talking about the Eagles? Well, fuck it. Y'all not doing anything. And fucking Matt's cool. We're talking about the Eagles. And he's smart, so I want to know his opinion on shit. And so you see now we're talking off season, basketball, baseball, UFC. That shit
Fuck,
did not used to happen.
no,
Like
it's beautiful. And Lenny, I gotta go to the gym in like 10 minutes, and we could totally. I'll come back and I could have another one that's like a little less real, right? But the first thing that I want to say, and I want to kind of break into everything that you said. So the first thing that you mentioned was you came back and you're like, "Wow, look at AJ. He's really come a long way," and I do agree. So AJ is the commissioner now, and I see a lot of what I was when I became a commissioner and AJ. But for some reason, because of life outside of Madden, which is a good thing, there was nobody that was like, "Who's gonna tell him?" You know what I mean? So it's and it's not anything wrong with AJ. It's the fact that if you want power to say, I have power, this is not where you should be because we're doing this for free. So I feel that way about AJ. I think AJ has potential because he has attention, he has effort, he wants to do the right thing, but I just don't think he knows how in AJ's world. And who am I to tell him that? Nobody. So if he doesn't want to listen, bro, you don't have to listen to that. And I don't dislike AJ. That's just my opinion. The next piece that I can say, and you talked about AJ, and then what was the next topic you brought up? Challenges of that you felt when you were commish, right?
Yeah.
And how you mentioned that you were spending thousands on this thing, but you didn't know why.
Yeah.
And I think that matured because we had a platform to just talk, and some people aren't ready for that platform. But when they are, and then when they can have their things, when they can have their bonds and harmony, it's not for somebody else to jump in. It's not for somebody to say, give me a piece of that. It's for you to join. It's for you to say, oh, you like the Eagles. Who was your favorite player? You know what I mean? Why do you like the Eagles? Oh, I like them because of X, Y, and Z. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, cool. So you like college basketball. It just becomes a web, and people don't have time to be on their phones like that because we have people that are men, fathers, dads. I was seeing that in the commish chat. I mean, we got commissioners who just got to do what they got to do. I was one of those guys. Like I was in that chat, but I wasn't present. And that's something that I think that I've been suffering in my life. Like I've been going through the motions, but I haven't been present. And a lot of that is because of my phone, a lot of that because of electronics, because of stress, and a lot of different things. And it's dangerous. And yeah, and then, all right, so that was the next piece. And then another thing that you said is you were spending thousands on per. And I think that's what you were summarizing shows like three things that I saw about you and I see about other people in this chat. Uh, and like in every darkness, there's always a little bit of light. So, eventually, if you're down there fucking long enough, your eyes get used to it. But when you come out and at first you're closing your eyes, but then you open them, holy shit, this is better than where I was. Um, I think you have that selflessness where you want to just give, but you got to be careful with that because people will take. And I think that you told yourself, why am I giving? But you didn't realize that people were taking. And that's my opinion on it. And that's, that happens to a lot of men, a lot of people in relationships, families. And a lot of the times when that happens, men get bitter. And when men get bitter, it ruins them. So we got a chance to be a bitter man, or we got a chance to do the right thing in every angle of our life and be the backbone of what we want to see change. Because at the end of the day, this is 50 people wide. This spreads across all areas of the U.S. If we can make people feel better in this chat, it can make people feel better out of it. So that's the community that I want to build, and that's just my angle and my mission. And I'm asking the community to help me do that because I can't be in the chat because I have others pulling me away from it. I wish I could be, but I don't got the money or the time, and that's a blessing in itself. But I don't have that time to just be in there, keeping the peace anymore. And I need to see Premier start to police itself as I shift into a different lens of my life. And if they don't start doing that, then I don't know what to say. I probably have to step away, delete the app, and just thank you guys for everything that happened to me. And there's nothing wrong with that because maybe the chat will evolve into something that I can't see anymore. And I think a lot of the OGs, bro, I think that happened to them, but they don't want to say. They just let the kids have it, and that says something about them. So, man, I encourage the OGs to come back. I encourage the OGs to come back and just chat and just give perspective. And I encourage these young guys to listen and try not to get offended. And if you do get offended or you are upset, just reverse engineer it back to why. Why is that bothering you? And you don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell Premier, but let Premier's perspectives from everywhere in the world tell you this. And I got to this conclusion because I think I started doing this in my professional life. Just realizing that your angle, you know what I mean? You just don't get an angle. Like you get one angle if you don't really explore. And I think Premiere allows you to explore safely without spending money. Just conversation and dialogue. And if you keep an open mind to it and you don't have to agree with everything, you can appreciate and respect it. And that's all I ask for us as a community, as men and as Madden players. And I know, as Madden matures, shit's going to get tough and we're going to see the competitor side, but we got to acknowledge, bro, fuck, that's not them. Put the phone down if you're feeling angry. Take 10 minutes, come back and say, yo, oh, you kicked my ass, dude, but good game. Like,
GG.
it's okay to you got beat, bro. You're not in this. We're not getting paid. We're just here to just kind of feel our progress. And some people are going to have the attention to be a champion, but you got to also see, like, to be a champion and to be able to be this committed to a game, they're at a different angle, and it's not a bad thing. They're at a different spot, and it's not a bad spot, but you can't resent them for being a champion. You got to appreciate them and let them be.
So
And,
Matt,
yeah,
real
what's
quick,
up?
because I know you gotta go. A couple of things. You don't have to comment on this. I just want to let you know the thoughts that are going on. Sky said you got to get Rampant Oreno back. 845 gang. So there you go, Sky. Sky never watches my stream, so I love it. I love it. No, no. Sky also is one of my guys. I remember one time I did one thing. It's kind of despicable, but I didn't want to play him in the playoffs, so I lost the game on purpose. He never forgave me for that. My bad, Sky, but I love you. Um, the second moment I wanted to talk about real quick, the other moment to me that was the most important one for Premiere. So I used to live in this house with like 6 people, right? And I'll make it quick, so I know you gotta go. But I live in this house with 6 people, bunch of people. You know how our league is. I would play like every day, blah blah blah. So they would hear me yelling, screaming, shit like that. I'm playing music, playing music. You know what I mean? They'd be like, "Why the fuck is he so into this?" So one time, one of my roommates, he was tripping. So he like came downstairs to watch. The game he happened to watch was me with the Patriots couple years back, and I was playing gut in the Super Bowl. And I remember just being down. It was a 14-3. Shit's looking bad. My offense, I can't do shit. But I'm just like, you know what? And it's weird because I learned this from Premiere. It's like, game's not over. Just one play, just stay in it. Don't even in that like I have an audience here. My friend is literally watching me almost lose the Super Bowl, and I'm like, okay, just fucking patience, patience. And then something crazy happened. I got a fumble, return it for a touchdown. We both start going crazy, and I'm like, oh shit, I got a chance here. So then I end up coming back, being up by 6. Gutta goes down the field. He's like on the 5 yard line. Think it was fourth down. He doesn't score. Game's over. I'm like jumping up and down, going fucking insane. Like, holy shit, I just won the fucking premier Super Bowl. And my friend, he remembers that to this day. He was like, oh shit. He was like, that felt like a real game. And I was like, I know, it's intense, right? And he was like, damn. He was like, and he brings up, he's like, one of the best moments I've ever had was watching you play that game. I say all that to say to you because after that Super Bowl, I'm like whatever, sitting there waiting for the trophy. He's there, and then we get some in the mail from Matt, and I open it. Matt was wait. I didn't even know what was going on. Matt's like, so we were both commissioned. I was like, "Did you get your trophy yet?" I'm like, "No, what the fuck? Nah, I didn't get it yet." And then I open it, and of course, you know it is. It's the pink dildo. My roommates all got a laugh. I was like, "This is fucking hilarious. I think it's hysterical." And again, it's because you knew me enough to know like he's gonna find this fucking funny. And then you like post it, and everyone in the chat like had a great laugh over it. And you're like, "The real one's coming soon." But it was like my roommate just seeing that kind of like love, the passion and the love like that the league creates is something he doesn't play Madden. He doesn't really like football like that. You know, like he'll watch the Super Bowl, but him just saying that is something he remembers to this day. And moments like that get created often in Premiere. And so we just want more of those moments and less of the negative ones. But I think as we build toward the relationships, I think podcast conversations, like what you're trying to do, I think we'll get back to that place. Um, but yeah, I just want to thank you guys because I know Matt, you gotta go. Thank you guys for listening. If you guys have any questions, I'll stay on for a little bit after Matt leaves. But Matt, do you have any last questions you want to ask? Anything else you want to say as you wrap up? It was great having
Yeah.
you, man.
So yeah, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak. It's easier for me to talk to you guys than like a person in my life, which probably says something about me. But it is what it is, and I accept that. So what I will say to summarize here is the beta is coming up next week. The reason why I drove this initiative is I saw the flaws in the league. I didn't necessarily see the positives for a few years, and now something told me to keep going back. And I think that the reason why something told me to keep going back is because I have a responsibility to help this chat like it helped me, and that's not a fiscal responsibility. it's almost like, in my mind, charity. Sometimes I'll feel like donating, and I encourage you guys to donate to Mason, bro, because doing something for free when you get nothing for it, even if you just do it for passion, eventually passion, the effort, that's where things get murky. So I'm encouraging donations. I don't want to put money, anything, bro. Just give something to Mason to let him do this. You could freaking win a parlay and win $100, bro. Give Mason two. Just a little thank you, just a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot. If we all do it, it will add up. Add up. And then yeah, lastly, bro, we got the fucking beta coming up next week. And I'm looking, through to getting flashes, and I think that beta will give us kind of like a pilot to understand where some conversations start to get ugly. So it's almost like our preseason in a way. So we got a preseason, or it's all, we can almost consider the beta the premier OTAs, and we have to start considering premier like a NFL league, and we need a commissioner who's going to lead for the right reasons and not lead just to lead. And I think that's what Rod did. I don't think that's what Reagan did, but Reagan had the effort. And we need a combination of effort, and we also need a combination of accountability, encouragement, and of respect. So once we get that, bro, this place is great again. And I'll let you go, Mason. Thank you. Now I'm going to go to the gym. I'll catch y'all later.
For sure, man. Get your pump on, brother. So yeah, I'll stay around for a couple more minutes. If you guys have any lasting comments. Um, I mean, end of the day, that was great. Um, I was in bed with my girlfriend and it was like 9:30 and she was like, you can just get right up, right? And I was like, yeah, but it's easier to get up when you're something that you're passionate about. And that's why um feel like I gotta join the league again. I'm like watching you guys talk and I fucking miss it. And I have enough time to do it. And especially like I wanna get back to giving you guys this content. I just think it's fun. I think it just adds to the league for real. And like I love interviewing, I love getting to talk to people. Um Hopefully you guys feel what I felt. Like Matt obviously cares about you guys deeply. That's why this is getting done. It's not getting done because, he's like, oh, we have to be less mean to each other. It's like he wants people to stay around. And I feel like from from Prod to me to Matt, Jacob, AJ, Jacob's been around for a while, and Juan, everything like that. Um, I feel like the thing that's been different from us than the Reagan era is that Reagan's quick to boot, right? He's like, yeah, you're just not a fit, boot. Like we have done everything possible to keep people around. We would rather people be here. Like you found us, someone found you from the league, you found us. We want you to be in the league long term. I mean, we don't want you to just, fucking leave. Um, that's why you even had, I think Jamari said something the other day about it was Merrick. Sorry, Jamari. It was Merrick. He was like, we have all these people in the chat, like it's only 30 teams in the league, like why are all these people here? And that conversation comes up from time to time. It's like you don't quite get it yet. Love you, Merrick, but you don't quite get like that. It's not. It's different. It really is a community. Like people are here, as a place to be themselves, um, come through nonsense, everything like that. So hopefully that conversation wasn't too heavy for you guys. I thought it was great, very enlightening. I definitely got more perspective on it because from my perspective, it was like, oh, whatever, stop being, weak, everything like that. But I see definitely more so where Matt's coming from now, and I have to kind of agree. I think all of it gets solved if we actually try to get to know people and not don't just see them as online personas. If we get to know you as a person, then I know what I can talk shit about with you. Um, but for those of you guys still here, next up we have an AJ interview coming up. Might push back a little bit because I also want to get to the gym. I also want to go to the gym. Um, so I'm gonna go real quick. But yeah, we got AJ today, Jacob possibly today, maybe not. Not sure yet. And then Ty coming up on Monday. Do you want to do it now? Damn, AJ. All right, give me a second. Give me AJ. Give me like 10. I gotta eat some food. And then we can do it. Does that work? Yes, give me 10 minutes, okay? All right, word. Guess I'm interviewing. Cool. I'm interviewing AJ soon, so I'm gonna eat my oatmeal real quick, my bananas, and I can catch you guys in a little bit, man. Deuces.